So we're going to be creating this blood infection on a sci-fi corridor. It's actually pretty easy. Now this project file is available free on Gumroad. There is a link in the description if you want to pick it up. Now what we need to do is create the blood vessels. It's actually pretty simple. We just need to enable the EEVEE Gen add-on, which is for free and comes with Blender. So edit, preferences. Let's just type in EEVEE. I've already got it installed. Put a tick next to it. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You're in. So the first thing we need to do is press N to bring up the side panel. Make sure we click on the Create tab. We have to be in object mode over here. And then from here you can see EEVEE Generator. Now the way this works is the EEVEE Generator will start wherever the 3D cursor is. So shift right click in an empty spot. And then if I just press Add New EEVEE, that's what we got. Just a small little EEVEE. Not exactly what we want, so let's fix that up. So let's delete this first and delete the small EEVEE. Let's disable our grow leaves because we don't need leaves just yet or at all. Max EEVEE length, I'm gonna set that to 6. I want some nice long strands. I actually want it coming out of this plate in here, so I'm just gonna dump it there. And I'm just gonna generate it now just to show you. So they're grayed out at the moment. Let's select our mesh, add new EEVEE. And you can see it's kind of fairly decent coverage. If I select it, we can see how far it's grown. It's a little bit too thin though. So let's press delete and we'll do that again. Let's come over into EEVEE branch size. I'm gonna make this 0.005, but obviously make it for your scale and select our mesh EEVEE generator. Boom. Now that is looking pretty schmick. So let's go ahead and just create a really simple material. So new material, new. I'm just gonna make this a red. We'll make it a little bit darker. Specularity up and the roughness down. Let's just go into rendered view. And to me, that looks not too bad. So let me quickly add in a camera. And just with F12, that looks quite nice. These ones up the walls, I don't really like them intersecting, but we'll probably fix them up in a sec. But it's now, let's just kind of like have some fun with this redness down here. So first up, what I'm going to do is actually select our EEVEE, press spacebar to search, or F3 or FN F3 if you're on a laptop. And let's convert to mesh. Okay, so now we've got a mesh. So if I press tab to go into edit mode, you can see that this is all one giant mesh now. From here, I kind of want to clean up some of these points because I really don't like these ones up the wall. So I'm going to get rid of that one and these two over here. Control L to select everything that's linked. And I'm going to press delete vertices. These other ones look fine because they go into there. This one's a little bit annoying, so we'll delete that one. But other than that, I'm fairly happy with how that is looking. All right, now we got to think about how we're going to be animating this, the blood pulsing. So the way we do it is with shape keys. So back into edit mode, we're going to come over into the shape keys or the object data properties here. Let's go into object mode, sorry. I'm going to create a shape key. This is going to be our basis. So kind of like the default what we've got. I want to create a new shape key again. This is the one we're going to edit. So with the shape key selected, let's go and tab into edit mode. I'm going to select a few random points. Okay. Let's come up to the top and turn on proportional editing. If we really wanted to, we could have just pressed O. From here, I'm going to press Alt S to scale. And you can kind of see that we've got, it's a little bit too big on the influence. So use the mouse wheel to go down. And I'm just going to kind of hold shift just to get a nice size. Something like that. I think it might be a little bit too big, but we'll see what happens. Let's press tab to go into edit mode. And then if I click on the EEVEE, and then with this value over here on the right hand side, we can kind of boom, 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 boom. Cool. Let's change it up a little bit as well. So I'm actually going to make sure it's set to 0. Another plus sign, tab into edit mode. Then let's select some more numbers, vertices. Alt S again. My computer's not being too happy, but that's fine. So we have that. And then let's just do one more for good luck. And then we're going to go like this. Nice big one. Alt S. Nice. You know what? Let's live a little. Let's go one more. All right, there we go. And Alt S. Really making that one big. Cool, so now we've got 4 shape keys. So let's go about animating them. So I'm going to come over into the animation tab. I'm going to change this one here in the top left from whatever viewport we're in now, the 3D viewport, to the graph editor. Let me just press the period key just to zoom in a little bit. From here, what I'm going to do is come over into our object data, and on the numbers, you have to click the numbers. I'm going to right click, insert keyframe, insert keyframe, insert keyframe, insert keyframe. And then if we expand this over here on the left-hand side, I'm just going to work with the first one. Let's press the period key on the numpad just to zoom in on it. And from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press N to bring up the side panel in the graph editor. Let's click on modifiers, add modifier, noise. Now we know that this only has a value between 0 and 1. So if it goes into the negative, nothing happens. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit just so we can see. Now I want the scale to be quite large. So it's going to be pulsing. So that's going to give us that even slow pulse, where the strength is obviously how strong that pulse is actually going to be. Oh, geez. So that's, to me, still pretty high. So let's just maybe go 5. Let's press play and see what it looks like. Yeah, nice. And that's only 1. So what we can do, rather than redoing all those steps again, I'm just going to press copy up the top here. Let's go to key 2, paste. I'm going to change the offset to a random number, and then we'll do the same, paste, random offset, and then let's do another paste, random offset, keep going, nice. And then technically, let's just come into layout, back into solid mode, deselect everything just so we can kind of see. And if I press play, we'll see that we've got these alternating pulses that are random going through it. Now with the flickering light, I kind of wanted to give that a little bit more atmosphere. So we're only going to break 1 light. And so the way we're going to do that is, once again, in the power, I'm going to right click, insert keyframe, come up into the animation. And this one I'm going to kind of do manually because I don't want the lights going on and off like slowly. I want them a really good flicker. So if we come down to here, I'm going to go to the next frame. Let's make that 0. Right click, insert keyframe, or replace keyframe. And then what I'll do is Shift D to duplicate that keyframe. Let's just select there, scale -1. And so what's going to happen is, as we're here, the light is on. Now it turns off, and now it turns back on. So let's go into rendered view. Computer's struggling a little bit. Off. But that material is still on. Because we're using EEVEE, it doesn't really work like that. So the light is turning off, but the material isn't. So let's go ahead and do the same thing for this material. So I'm going to select our mesh, come over into the mesh. Let's go plus sign. I know mat M is our light source. Let's duplicate it, and I'll call this one the off. Tab into edit mode. Let's select this plane here, and then I'm going to assign it to that one. And then we're going to mimic what we've done here. So on frame 60, we've got the light on. At frame 61 off, 65 off, 66 on. So let's just kind of remember that. Strength, insert keyframe. Then there is 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 60 frame. Right click, insert keyframe, and then here we put it back onto 5. So now when we select both of these, we can kind of just select everything, Shift D, and then we just randomly just start duplicating it. Let's grab everything with the box select, Shift D. We have the light turning off to, so I'm just going to play around with this a little bit. Render, and there we have it. This sci-fi corridor light flashing, blood vessel pumping. So don't forget, if you want to download it, there is a link in the description for free.